San Diego Comic-Con 2025 wrap-up.
San Diego Comic-Con exclusives.
And an extended show and tell. It's all here on a new episode of Bronze and Modern Gods. You, Richard, did you see South Park?
Oh, I saw it. All right. I haven't seen a better love letter put together than that episode.
Wow. They were at San Diego Comic-Con, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They had a panel that happened right after that aired. Yes, I am back from San Diego Comic-Con. It was amazing. We were there Wednesday through Sunday. We stayed all 5 days, and you can see I'm a little red.
A little bit.
Well, we stayed at a hotel that was different this time. We weren't actually down in the downtown or in the gas lamp. We were about 4 miles in Point Loma, which is by the Navy base. But there's a shuttle bus that came very regularly. The problem is you got to stand outside in the shuttle bus or to wait for the shuttle bus. And I have my hat on and sunscreen, but you know, I'm so fair-skinned, Richard. So
you are not a tropical people like me.
I'm a tomato after 5 minutes. But you guys want to hear about San Diego Comic-Con. We got plenty to talk about. I've got plenty to show you from there. Before though, let me show you the shirt. I got new shirts.
Oh, excellent.
You know, you guys are sick of seeing the same shirts. Look, it's Quasar and Nova.
Nice.
Little cosmic characters here. You've got the Gladiator, Silver Surfer, the Annihilators, basically. I can't say Gladiator without thinking of Elizabeth Taylor at the Oscars when she read the award for Gladiator. Hey, let's get to the hot book of the week. Richard, you weren't there, but you know what's going on. Let's hear it.
Yeah, San Diego Comic-Cons in general, specifically San Diego, are famous for their exclusive books. And some of the books that are exclusive end up skyrocketing in value. None of these books, it's too early to tell for these books that I'm going to talk about as to what their value is going to be. But they're books that I would buy at an inflated value, not necessarily a super crazy inflated value, but I would pay extra for these books. The first one I'm going to talk about is Black Cat Mysteries number 50. This is an interesting one. This was available at one of the booths at San Diego, or the Whatnot. I'm sorry, it's available as a Whatnot exclusive.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see Whatnot with a booth. Maybe there may have been. I didn't see it though.
Yeah, I mean, when we were there, Whatnot had their own offsite facility. But yeah, this is Whatnot exclusive. The thing that gets me though, it's limited to 20 issues. How in the world do you limit something to 20? That's first of all, how do you get a print run of 20 unless you're doing some kind of digital print?
Was that a typo? Did they leave
I don't know. For all honesty, all this information came from Key Collector. But 20 copies seems to be a ridiculously small number. I mean, the first 20 people in line get it, and then no one else does. That just seems to be wrong to me. But I am keeping an eye out for a copy of this to surface on eBay, because I'd buy a copy of this. Black Cat Mysteries is one of those Golden Age books that I would love to have in my collection just because of this amazing cover. Cover has absolutely nothing to do with the story, but it's just such a great classic horror cover that I just really, really want a copy of it. And that desire drips down to just, facsimiles of it like this one.
Can I stop the hot book of the week segment right here, since we're talking about pre-code horror and books you want?
Mm-hmm.
At Comic-Con, I don't know what this means. I don't know if it means more collections are hitting the market, people are selling, aging out. Richard, there were not one, not two, but 3 slab copies of Mask Comics #1 that I saw.
Oh.
3.
Wow.
3 of them. 3 separate booths had copies of Mask Comics #1, everywhere from a 2.0 to, I think the highest graded one I saw was a 4.0.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen one in person before.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that is amazing. How was the pricing on them?
I just if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Lingerie.
Yeah.
What's your last hot book of the week? I see one more here, the Spider-Man one.
Yeah, this is okay. I think this is cool. I'm a big Magic the Gathering fan, even though I have aged out of the hobby and I've been priced out of the hobby, to be honest with you. I don't want to be that 6-year-old guy playing a card game for that 20, against the 20-year-olds. But I still love the game. I think the game is challenging, it's interesting, and it has a lot of depth to it. Recently, though, Wizards of the Coast, the owners of the trademark for Magic the Gathering, have been doing these collaborations with other IPs. One of the IPs they're doing now is Spider-Man, and I was kind of poo-poo on it because I just don't see the need. They have such a rich universe on their own. Why do you need to bring in these Street Fighter and all these other IPs into that milieu when you've already got a rich a possibility? Their own multiverse is what they have. But they announced they're doing Spider-Man. I wasn't that excited about it until I saw this comic. Now, this comic, if you are a Magic the Gathering player, you will see a lot of tells on this that really ties in the Magic. You see the Magic symbols on there for the cost, for example. You've got the legendary creature Spider Human Hero, which is the type of card it is, and the 4/4 with his strength and health. And then you've got it just reads like a Magic the Gathering card, but in a way that ties in with the cover from ASM #1. It's just really well done. And I, as a crossover between my love of comics and my fandom of Magic the Gathering, I want a copy of this. I have not seen well, I take that back. I saw some copies up on eBay right now. They're going for around $70.
Okay.
But I haven't seen any count on how many comics of this are out there. Yeah, no idea. It's also polybagged, which kind of makes me worry about the condition of the books that you're going to come across. I saw one guy wanted to ship it to you in bubble wrap, a bubble mailer, which I did not think was a great idea. Yeah, it's changed my attitude about this collab. I think it has the potential. I'm actually going to look into it. I'm not going to play it. Magic the Gathering is similar to an addiction. Once you get too deep into it, it's hard to get out of it.
I wonder if that was at the Hasbro booth. I guess it had to be at the Hasbro booth, which they have so many IPs and things there besides Magic the Gathering, Transformers,
Right.
just endless IPs. And there was a constant line all the way down for the Hasbro booth. So we just said, no, thanks. But I can do some additions to what you've picked from being there, and not necessarily comic books, but hot things and exclusives that people were looking for. The Marvel and Topps cards collaborations, the new Marvel, I don't know if it's Masterworks, but they have a new card set with Topps.
Oh, wow.
There was a box there that was an exclusive for San Diego, already selling for $345 or so on eBay. Some particular chase cards that you could break out within that exclusive box, like a foil White Queen, is selling for over $1,000 on eBay.
Wow.
Can we spell FOMO, kids?
Yeah.
The other hot exclusives were Monster High from Mattel. It's kind of like goth Barbie dolls. There was,
I'm familiar with it.
Exactly. Well, we would have been super. I don't know if this means anything to her. There was an Elvira Monster High San Diego exclusive selling for $80 and then flipping on eBay for $400 on Wednesday and Thursday. So there's that, and plenty of booth exclusives, but those were the ones that were really kind of getting people in line and having them buzz. There was a Mario Kart princess Hot Wheel exclusive, the princess in the Hot Wheel or in the Mario Kart car, but as a Hot Wheels type vehicle. You know what I'm trying to say. Guys, it's been 5 days on my feet. I am sober. But yeah, there was other stuff going on. And I guess that is a good segue for us to switch to the show and tell screen and talk a little bit more about Comic-Con. Okay, so I completely reset the way I approach Comic-Con for the first time in many, many years. Guys our age, we kind of bitch and moan about Comic-Con San Diego. It's not what it used to be. It's not even about comic books anymore. And I thought to myself, actually, I got to give Mark Evanier credit on his blog, newsforme.com, if you don't read that. He really kind of, before Comic-Con, he said, if you make this complaint, it's on you, because there is plenty of comic book related material and things to do at San Diego Comic-Con. And so for the first time, over 30 times I've gone to Comic-Con, I know this is horrible. I know, I'm pathetic, you guys. I sat down beforehand and I made a panel schedule. And I told myself, I'm going to have a comic book focused Comic-Con where, forgive me, everyone, I'm not worried about running around grabbing content the whole time. I'm not running around trying to grab as many exclusives and things to flip and make money. I'm going to go shopping and find things I want to find at a budget. I gave myself $300, Richard,
for the whole week. Wow,
a whole week for buying comics. Now, if I had picked that for meals, I would have been out of money the second day. Starbucks, Raphael and I, 2 coffees, two breakfast wraps, $25.
Yeah, sadly.
Crazy. Enough of that. So I made a panel schedule, and there's going to be a few pictures here. No video, because they don't allow you to take video on the panels, understandably so. But I packed my week and weekend with panels. I went to the Spotlight on Paul Levitz, a friend of the show who's been on. We've interviewed him, the editor-in-chief of Marvel. Former DC Comics editor-in-chief. Sorry, Paul. Very good panel there with lots of memories and talking about his career. Went to go see our friend Gary Sassaman and his panel for his YouTube channel, Tales from My Spinner Rack. Mm-hmm. That was, if you're not subscribed to Gary's channel, please do that right away. Tales from My Spinner Rack. He had Mark Evanier, himself, and John Morrow from Tomorrow's publications that published a Jack Kirby collector. And they talked about their individual top 10 favorite Jack Kirby Fantastic Four covers. So wow. I'm a pig in slop on this panel. Went to Titan Comics, our friend Andrew Sumner, who's also been on the show, for their Conan the Barbarian panel. Lots of Conan stuff coming up. If you are a Conan fan, you've got Savage Sword. The magazine's going to continue. They have King Conan is coming. Cole is getting his own book. We know how that works out. Cole always is a big runaway seller, but maybe Titan will do it right and get it. So that was interesting. Lots of great art there on display. The Jack Kirby's Fourth World panel. Again, Mark Evanier, who had 19 different panels he was on.
Wow.
I know, poor guy. His knee and his ankle are still healing, so he's a trooper. Great discussion about Kirby's New Gods books. The Jim Shooter Memorial panel with Tom Brevoort, Paul Levitz. That one was interesting because they all kind of got up and said something. Then they said, if anybody has anything to say about Jim Shooter, come on up. That went as well as you thought it was. All right. I went to the Groo panel. Again, Mark Evanier.
Really? Was Sergio there?
Sergio joined us by FaceTime. He was in Ojai, California, but he did join us via FaceTime along with Stan Sakai. And just so you know, Bronze and Modern Gods always on the scene, getting the answers to the tough questions. Here is the question I asked during the Groo panel. Roll that beautiful bean footage. We're over 45 minutes into a Groo panel and no one's mentioned cheese dip yet. Why is that?
Oh, man. Because these people have an enormous taste and culture, and they're too smart to fall for a stupid running gag. So I will be the mulch for you.
All right, now before you guys look at your screen and wonder what the heck's going on, there is a running joke. If you read Groo, you got that joke. Do you remember reading Groo? Do you remember it though?
I remember it? I remember it vaguely. Let's put it that way.
The running joke about cheese dip and how Groo loves cheese dip. It was mentioned a few times, but then it became a running gag in the letters page. So that's what that was about. Celebrating Dark Shadows. There was a Dark Shadows panel where they announced a new graphic novel from Hermes Press.
I am so impressed with the following for Dark Shadows. A 70s TV show that really just didn't have that big of an audience at the time. That's amazing.
Guess who's drawing the graphic novel?
Who?
Jock.
Really?
Yes.
The interiors for the graphic novel?
He is fully doing it. It's done. Wow. It's done. And the most frustrating thing was they had this whole panel. They talked about the graphic novel. Jock talked about the graphic novel. They had no art to show us on the screen. And so I had to be a little bit of a jerk and raise my hand and say, why would you guys have a panel of talking about this and not show us any art? And, oh, you can come to the booth and see it. I'm like, guys. And then I ended the weekend Sunday morning at, of course, you guessed it, the Jack Kirby tribute panel with, you guessed it, Mark Evanier, Paul Levitz, and a Tom Brevoort, a bunch of people on the Jack Kirby tribute panel. Now, non-panel stuff, dealers, prices were weird. I got some great deals from some dealers, and then some dealers, again, like every other show we talk about, they're just on another planet. I just don't know what they're thinking. I did see my first PSA slabs in the wild. Here's a picture of one of them, Daredevil 4.0, Daredevil number 1 4.0, next to a CGC slab so you can see it. The edges are frosted. Do you like that?
No, I don't. I want to be able to see the book in totality. That's kind of scary.
I was joking with the dealer that showed it to me. Oh, that's so they can hide the banana bins. It is heavy. It is a tank. It is like, a very lightweight thing versus this seal press. I mean, it's really heavy. It's got some heft to it. I can't imagine anyone doing CPR on a PSA slab. How are you going to crack it out? Someone will figure it out and do a YouTube video eventually, but I wouldn't try. It would damage the book.
Yeah. I want to see somebody for the community drop it. I've dropped CGC slabs on the corner, whole corner shatters, and the slab is basically rendered unusable. What happens when you drop one of these PSA slabs? Does it break in a certain way? Does it damage the book?
I don't know if it would get damaged. I mean, it was tough. I'll give them that. They've come up with a tough tamper evident slab. That is the plus. The minus, you all can say it with me, that label is just ugly. In person, it's uglier than you see on the picture. I didn't think it could be uglier, but it is.
Wow. Too bad. They had an opportunity to rethink that, and they went with their current branding, which is what they're using on the cards. So from that point, it's an extension of that branding. But do something that adds some excitement to your property, especially since you've got the competition, CGC and CBCS.
The line at PSA, there was a constant line for cards. Now this is just anecdotal stuff, everyone, but I didn't see a lot of people submitting comics. People I talked to said that they went by and they did not see a lot of comic books being submitted. But PSA is not alone. CGC, if you remember, they had an exclusive Superman crypto comic that limited to 3,000. First 3,000 people to submit a comic book got this comic book. Sunday afternoon, they still had plenty of copies of that Superman comic book, which 3,000, okay, that would mean you'd have to have over 700 people a day submitting. Does that seem?
Yeah, there's a lot of people. But at the same time, in 2020, 2021, that could happen, I think, fairly easily.
Absolutely. The big takeaway is I and Raphael, we had a blast. We just had a blast. I think I've finally, after 30 odd years, have figured out how to do Comic-Con right in a way that I just really enjoyed myself without stress.
Now, were the panels easy to get to? I know sometimes you got to travel a good distance to get to some of these venues.
A breeze. There were two things that were off-site that I just honestly I ditched. I didn't mention them because I didn't want to make anybody feel bad. I didn't feel like going off-site. But everything was in upstairs in the meeting rooms, and it was easy walk, easy to get to. I met so many people on the floor. Lee from Elite_Comics11 was, I can't name everybody, but Ariel was there. I met the nice gentleman who runs Haven for Heroes channel, who I really like his channel. He's a very gruff, tell it like it is, Gen Xer like us. If you're not following Haven for Heroes, you might want to subscribe to him. I saw Swaggle House was there. Our friend Jeff, the Golden Age Guru. We saw Comic Tom. Just a very Gary from Very Gary's Comics. So, and then just so many people coming up and saying hi. We were went to go see the Doctor Who pop-up that was across the street, and I didn't realize, I swear to God, guys, I'm not lying. I didn't realize there was a separate line because they had it broken, you know?
Oh,
I waltzed right up like, la, 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 Doctor Who. And they gently informed me there was a line. I'm like, oh, no, sorry, my bad. And as I'm walking past, I hear this voice like, you dick, one of you, another YouTuber trying to cut the lines. And I was like, I was mortified. And then I realized it was somebody who watches the show, and he was just messing with me. Hi there. And his wife. Yeah, they freaked me out pretty bad because I was mortified. I am not a line cutter, guys. I was in the Army. I am all about law and order. But it was great.
That was great. I was talking, Evan and I were talking. Neither one of us went this year, but just following the general buzz of the show, was there a lot of Marvel movies, a lot of superhero movies mentioned?
Not really, but then again, I didn't go anywhere near Hall H. There was a lot of Fantastic Four. If you guys are on our Instagram page, you'll see the Galactus cosplay, which I got a picture of that. Yeah, that went viral. You have to see that thing to believe it.
It is an amazing costume. It is an amazing costume.
That's nuts. But how about a little show and tell of stuff I got at Comic-Con, right? Because I think it's worth showing, because I had my budget. I stretched my budget, man. I got a lot of good stuff for very little money, which is still possible in 2025. First, though, if you're not a member, why not? Come on, break out that wallet. $2.99 a month. Much less than a Starbucks, as we discovered this weekend. You get exclusive live member-only streams. In fact, I'm going to be with Richard this coming weekend at Neo Comic Con in Ohio. You get shout-outs like this, and you help us pay for the super expensive, ridiculously overpriced StreamYard software, new camera equipment. We have to get new Rode microphones because I sat on my other one. I'll tell that story some other time. I know I need to lose weight when I break a microphone by sitting on it. All you have to do is hit the join button right next to the subscribe button here on YouTube. And if you're on the podcast, just hit the description, the link in the description. If you're on the podcast, you got to go over to YouTube for the show and tell, okay? Because this is going to be a very visual episode. All right. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Now, guys, Richard doesn't have any show and tell because it's all about Comic-Con, and Richard did not go to Comic-Con, so please don't think I'm monopolizing the show. Just
I do have one book, just because. We're talking about foils. Some of the exclusives. I've got this book. We were talking about Jock too. This is a Jock cover.
Yeah,
Batman 125. I love this cover. This is the 1 in 50th, 1 in 50 variant cover. Nice gold foil. Jock does just amazing covers, just beautiful covers. You think since I don't like Sienkiewicz, I wouldn't like Jock, but it's kind of not true. I like all of his work. So yeah, just wanted to highlight.
Do you know he's from South America?
Is he really?
I didn't know that. They said that's what they said on the Dark Shadows panel. So
Okay.
hopefully they weren't lying to us all. Where'd you get that?
Just got it off of from my LCS. This was
Nice.
not any real exclusive other than that 1 in 50th variant.
Yeah. All right. So I'm digging. And I thought, again, resetting how I do San Diego. I always look at wall books, and if I don't see wall books I like, I move on. This time I got my fingers dirty. I had black fingertips. I went through boxes and I went big dealers, Worldwide Comics, Harley Yee, small dealers.
Ooh.
Harley was there. Small dealers, Lawrence at P Dots. Hi, Lawrence. Other small dealers that didn't have a name. They're just, I'm selling funny books here. I went through boxes, man, and I had a goal. There were 2 books I really wanted, and I said, I'm going to look for these 2 specific books, all Comic-Con, and the thrill of the hunt was great. Spoiler alert, I found them both.
Perfect.
I spent less than $30 for both of them, and I'm going to save them for the last. All right. So I'm going through and I'm just finding things that I don't have that, Jim Shooter, rest his soul, passed away. One of his companies after Valiant was called Defiant Comics. I don't have a lot of the Defiant comics. And I thought, hey, for $3, I'll start with Prudence and Caution. I don't know what this is about. I don't know why he has one arm and a belly. But for $3, which is less than cover price, it was $3.25 when it came out, I will give it a shot.
Yeah. Who's the cover artist,
It is Jim Fern.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I let the prices in all these books. I haven't bagged or anything. I actually got these cumulatively for less than what you're seeing, because I would make a stack and then say, if it was $30, say, will you take 25? That old thing that I tell you guys to do all the time, make offers. Nobody told me no. From the same dealer, Lost in Space #1 from Innovation.
I love it.
Is that tentacle porn?
It pretty much is, yes.
Poor Penny.
The kids like to call it hentai.
Poor Penny and Judy. So there's that. Before I go to the next books, we were walking through the convention center and someone stopped us and said, would you guys like some free trading cards? And we said, sure, we love free. The Divorced Dad's Booster Pack, The Age of Alimony.
Wow. That's a great shtick. Are they actually cards in there?
Yes, with these cards, I am never alone. Welcome to Divorced Dad's Court of Chaos.
Oh, that's bad.
There's Divorced Dads. So I got a little booster pack if you want to play Divorced Dads. I just thought that was hysterical. We were Raphael and I were making up cards the whole time. Like, you get the kids for the weekend, lose 5 health.
2 Christmases. Minus 20.
Finances, -4. All right. He's canceled. So I'm not going to say his name. Canceled for very good reasons. Google it if you want. But I loved his book that he co-wrote called The Trouble with Girls. And when The Trouble with Girls got canceled, there was a mini series with Lester Girls, the lead character, and I never got it. So here's issues 1 and 2. I could not find a 3, unfortunately, so I still need a number 3. Better than Faulkner. Girls. And again, who's bringing Lester Girls to Comic-Con? This guy was. Who's buying Lester Girls at Comic-Con? This guy. Same dealer. Exo Man of War, number 58, very late Valiant. Which
how many years is that run? Do you know?
60 something, I think. So this is very near the end of the run. And then they rebooted it a couple years later with issue 1 by Mark Waid. So Exo, and all right, I'm gonna skip ahead to the 2 books I was looking for. The last 2 issues of Black Hawk from the 60s, issues 242 or 242 and 243. They had made Black Hawk superheroes so bad, so campy, so awful. For example, Chuck was called the Listener, and his power was that he could hear really well. and he wore a blue jumpsuit with ears all over it. I'm not making this up.
That is terrible.
Sales went in the dumper, understandably so. So for the last 2 issues, they really tried to. Dick Giordano took over the book as editor, and Marv Wolfman, his first comic book work was the plot for the first issue of the fixed Blackhawks, where back to World War II, back to planes, back to fighting Nazis, and Pat Boyette drew those last 2 issues. And I wanted them, and I've never physically seen them till now. $12 at Worldwide Comics.
Wow.
Issue 242. Look at that cover.
That is great.
Right? The Black Knight's return. Like, please forgive us.
Oh, and there are superheroes at this point.
Yeah, well, not at this point. They went back to being the real Blackhawk.
Yeah.
And just beautiful cover, beautiful art, very Alex Toth influenced, almost Gilbert Hernandez too, if you look at it. And the story is he got this late and he drew it like over an extended weekend, like 4 days.
Wow.
The whole book and the cover. And then the last issue, it was too little too late. They didn't even wait for the sales figures to come in. They canceled it. But this is the last issue. I'm not a fan of the cover, but the interior art is Pat Boyette again. But I found both issues at San Diego. This one was $15. This one was $12. I got this one for $10 for paying cash.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this one for $12 for paying cash.
Wow.
The other trick that Richard knows very well. Bring cash.
Yes.
You'll
Cash.
Exactly.
So
then,
how long have you been looking for those?
Gosh, maybe about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Seriously. And then I just run into things and I'm like, I think I have to buy this for $4. Mighty Hercules #2.
Oh my goodness. That brings back a whole bunch of memories. Oh man.
Where's his little satyr friend? The
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Oh, man, you're triggering memories from back in the early 70s. That is hilarious.
Play that clip.
Eddie, which is your favorite Greek superstar?
You know it's Hercules, 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 Hercules.
There you go. Mighty Hercules #2. And now I need a #1. By the way, it's all yellow and it's got, foxing. This is gonna be a big blue LED experiment.
By the way, for people who aren't as old as John and I, that was a television cartoon in the 70s, and I remember seeing Hercules and the satyr you mentioned too. It's like I said, if you're a person of a certain age, that may have brought back memories.
Going through boxes, I'm looking for my Looney Tunes. I'm looking for my first Speedy Gonzales, first Roadrunner, things like that. Couldn't find them, but then I find other things that I didn't know I needed till I saw them. How about the very first Rocket J Squirrel and Bullwinkle in comics?
Oh, wow.
Rocky and his friends from 4-Color Comics, along with Peabody, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Boris and Natasha. Well, I got these. All right, I got these next 2. I got this one and the next one in a deal for $70.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so this one
looks in great condition too.
The second one, what do you see the colors on this one?
Oh, wow.
Look at that space cover.
Yeah.
Got these 2 for $70 from a really great dealer whose name I really wish I remembered. Watch the show, please forgive me. Hit us in the comments. Let us know who you were. But look, I love the deep colors on this one.
That is amazing.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Again? Nothing up my sleeve. Then I see this. Wrinkled bag syndrome. Forgive me. I have not rebagged all these.
Oh, wow. Is
a super giant.
Yeah.
It's Rocky and his fiendish friends, #1. This is not what I paid for it,
Mm-hmm.
but it is the first gold key. Rocky and Bullwinkle after the Dell series. And this one's just really tough in grade because of the giant. It's a giant. And this one is gorgeous. This is like a 9.0.
Wow, I see Dudley Do Right. I see
No.
his family.
Mhm.
Whatchamacallit, and his boy, his pet boy.
Yep. Peabody and Sherman and Natasha and Boris. And I don't know who this is supposed to. The general. I forget his name.
Oh boy, yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah.
But
No.
awesome.
But yeah, just very cool. Here's a little pin up on the back if you want to.
Oh, perfect. Without the trade dress. That's great.
Yeah, just rip it off, kids, and hang it on the wall, and it won't be worth anything. But that's my haul from Comic-Con.
Under $300 too.
Under $300, believe it or not. Now that I'm adding it up in my head, let me see here. This was 70. Yeah, I think just under 300 or just over 300 by like $10.
I'm proud of you keeping a budget like that.
We went to the ATM and I pulled out 300 cash.
Mm-hmm.
It was much easier that way because I knew what I had and I couldn't go over it because I wasn't going to use a card. So I stuck to it. And now I still have some money for NEOCon.
Yep. Can't wait for you to get here.
Me neither. It'll be fun because I fly overnight Thursday night and I land at 4:50 a.m. Friday morning.
Oh,
You know that flight well, don't you?
dude, that red eye, that is tough.
I have Friday and Saturday to recover. And in case you don't want to miss Richard and I, and you happen to be in the Northeast Ohio area or Detroit or Toledo or Pittsburgh, we will be there Sunday, August 3rd. It is Neo Comic-Con, NEO Comic-Con, and we will be there. And we will have no live show Thursday, but I think we're going to try to work one in earlier in the week, Richard, if you're up for it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to be on a plane during our normal time. As you understand, I can't stream from a plane yet. And I think they're too concentrated on trying not to collide with other planes in
That's
this.
more important. Yeah.
Can't wait to get on a plane this week, and we will see you then. Everybody have a great week.
Yep, everybody stay safe.